Good morning, evening, and afternoon, and good darkness for those unfortunate enough to be living on a body with no star in sight. We are in episode 14 with 498 solved. So let's jump right back into it. We have one beacon left to explore, which is this, leading us to Solitude. Much like starless bodies floating in the sky, we will be exploring Solitude. So, each region contains a single symbol, which means these cannot connect. Nice. I like this rule. I like metagames. This is forced because this shape only has one tile that does not see a 2x2, which is forced to be this tile. Therefore, this tile has to be a part of a 2x2, and it can only be that. Same thing here. And then this comes out, and it's one of the dead ends. It can only be this dead end, therefore this is a part of a 1x4, which must be this. This, and this polyomino forces all these, forces the unique solution. Solitude. Okay, so Solitude means that this 5 needs to grab either this or this, because it can at most grab those, but it could also just go elsewhere. This tile is either the dead end, either this tile is part of a 1x4 or it's the dead end. If it is part of a 1x4, the 1x4 has to be here or here. And if it is the dead end, then one of its adjacent tiles needs to be part of a 1x4. This can't be a part of a 1x4 if this is the dead end. This can't be part of a 1x4 if that's the dead end. This can be part of a 1x4 if that's the dead end, and this can't be a 1x4 if that's the dead end. So this is not the dead end, so it is part of a 1x4. The only 1x4 it can be a part of are this and this. So these three are always together. These cannot join. This now is it cannot be that, because that would force this, and that's no good. So this happens. And now that this happened, it's forced to be that. This is now forced to be this. This is now forced to be this, and the puzzle completes. Palisade Solitude. Each region contains a single symbol and not 0. That's what this puzzle is teaching us. That was a consequence of all the previous puzzles, but I did not notice it until now. Every tile must see a symbol. You couldn't have this, which means dead end has to expand. Dead end expand, dead end expand, dead end expand, dead end expand. Nice. Okay. I'm loving this mechanic. These cannot see each other, which forces this. Dead end expand. Also this. And there are only 2 possible regions in this puzzle. So this is red or blue, and it's not red, so it's blue. And I believe now all of these have to be blue, because we have the situation where once there are only 2 regions in the puzzle and both visit the edge, then once one of them sees the edge, the other cannot interfere. We can't make red anywhere along the edge, or else it would cut blue off and vice versa. And we know there are only 2 regions in the set because each region must see a symbol, and there are only 2 symbols in the set. And the 2 symbols cannot be together, obviously. So actually, whenever Solitude is a rule, you immediately know how many regions are in the puzzle because all symbols are always given at the start of the puzzle. Alright. And then this has to be red, so it expands and the puzzle is forced. Done. Solitude, Palisade, Polyomino. Okay. This is gonna happen. Either this happens or this happens. Ah, there's something interesting going on here. Let's ask about this tile. It has to see a symbol, and it cannot see any of the polyominoes, so it must see this. So these are the same. And the same can probably be said about many other tiles, like this tile. That tile is not, because this could happen. This tile, however, no, that could happen. This tile, defo. This could still cut it off, because this could still escape elsewhere. Ah, but this cannot be horizontal, because then these are cut off from each other, so it must be vertical. So now this has to happen. And now... this. Now this has to come up, and this has to be a dead end. It can't be the middle dead end, because that one, once it expands, it needs 2 orthogonals in either direction. So it must be one of the dead ends that sees a 1x3, and both of them have to in the middle go orthogonal, so this is forced. And now this cannot pick both of these up. In fact, it cannot even go there. So that's red, because that's the only other region left, so now that's red. And now red, to connect, must grab this. And now this couldn't grab those 3, so that's red, and now this has to fill the rest. Nice. Okay, none of these see each other because we exist in solitude. That's not 6. Now it's 6. This can only be yellow. Same for that. Now that can only be orange. And we're done. Solitude area number. This is red, this is blue. These can only be red and blue. This cannot be blue, I think, because... Well, no, it could, I guess. Yeah, it could. But, sorry, these cannot all be red. So a second color must show up, but only red and blue have access to this, because we cannot introduce a non-red or blue, because that couldn't grab a symbol. So, blue has to get in, and now this is forced to be red, and so that's red, and this is blue. Blue has to get further in, and further and further. And it cannot pick all of them up. So red still needs to go 1 further in. And now blue's forced to do this. And now this is non-blue, and it's forced to be yellow. Now red, no matter what, will have to go through here because it cannot avoid going there. If it tries to avoid going there, it's too small. So that's forced to be red. And so it has to go through here, and now this has to be red. This is now some other color that is not yellow, because yellow can't go far enough to grab that. So it's green, and it has to escape to see one of these two. Red still needs to expand at least one more. Now green could be that, or this. It can still reach either. But whichever one it reaches is fully complete. And I believe it has to be this, because if this is not green and this is green, this is forced to happen and purple dies. So this is green and this is purple. And now so green is now 5, 6. Green needs 3 more tiles to visit this. This cannot happen, so this must happen. This cannot happen because, you know, too many tiles, so this must happen. And this can't be red, so it must be green. And now this is done, and so red takes this. And now yellow. How far can yellow reach? Yellow can at most reach here. So those can't, none of those can be yellow. So they're all purple. And this needs to be non-yellow. Sorry, non-purple. Only yellow can be it. Yellow now needs to grab that. And already yellow needed to expand anyway. We knew that. So 5, 6. Yellow 7. Yellow needs 2 more. That's not yellow. Purple needs to get out. So that's purple. Purple is done. The rest are yellow. Complete. Solitude, so dead ends with no symbol must expand. This is now that. Dead end expansion. This now is this. This. This can only see this symbol, same for that tile. And this needs to close there, which means this is not purple, so it's yellow. And therefore this happens, and therefore this happens. Solitude. I do not understand the purpose of this puzzle. That was kind of weird. Is it just trying to reinforce that this can't do that, must do this. That I don't know what these are trying to reinforce. This can only be a part of that, not that. Anyway. Anything here? Something there. Oops, sorry. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. This is what I meant to do. No, we have to do that. We have to do that. This. Oh, precision 6. Sorry, I should read the rules. Alright, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. This needs 3 more out of 4, but not that, so it must pick the rest up. This now can only belong to this. 5, this has to be blue, and we're done. Solitude area number. Okay, so this is not the 2. It's one of the 4s. This is not the 2, it's not the 3, it's the 4. The 3 cannot go there because it will cut something off. This is not the 2, it's only the 4. This 2 now cannot do that because this is isolated, so it must do that. And we're done. A lonely island, says the achievement. Restore the Solitude window. I like that the Solitude window is so isolated down there. That's kind of funny. Solitude. The 6 has to get out. This can't be a 3, so it's the 12. And so the 12 must go through here. And here. So now this happens and this happens. This 3 could grab all those. This can also not be a 3. So that's also the 12. So how many tiles is 12 now? At least 2 more to pick that up, and then at least 2 more to pick that up. So at least 4 more in addition to 5, 6, 7. That's 11. So it cannot go through the left side to pick that up. Yeah. It can only pick this up through, like, I think this is forced. If any one of those tiles is not 12, for example, let's say this happens, then this is now forced to go through here, which forces 4 more tiles, and that's really bad because now we cannot pick that up. The same happens if this happens, 4 more tiles forced, 4 more tiles forced, 4 more tiles forced, 4 plus 2. So, and this always needs plus 2. Like, we can't go through here and then pick that up without adding 2 more onto 10 plus 1. So that means that this has to be picked up through here. And then we can see 1 more tile. And what we can see is that I've broken the puzzle. Because there are 5 tiles here, and we can only pick 4 of them up. So what did I do wrong? I don't get it. We cannot do this. Let's do... Oh, we can? No, but that's not good enough. What I meant to say is we cannot do this. And the 6... Only the 12 can pick this corner up and that corner, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the 6 can't reach that, the 3s cannot reach that. Only the 12 can reach this corner. So it has to. Same is true of that corner. And the 12 can't go up through there. So it must go through here because this 6 will need to pick that up. And so the 12 has to go through this tile. Three can't reach this corner. 3 or 6 can't reach this corner. So maybe I missed something. No, that's too many tiles. That's too many tiles too. How? Because like this can't help. So like if we do this, we couldn't do that. Because this would have to pick everything up. So By the way, this 6 sees at most 4, so 5, 6 is forced. This 3 sees at most 1, 2, so this is forced. That's forced. Well, now this is truly forced. And that, and that, and that, and this. Like, I don't understand. Like, the puzzle is literally just broken. What is happening, dude? What is happening? Did I make a mistake here? Everything entered so far is correct. What? How? 3, 4, 5, 6. This doesn't need to expand, actually. This has to happen. This cannot go north. This has to happen. Now this has to happen. What? Oh my god, don't tell me this doesn't have to be 12. So they lied to us? Each region contains it, but this doesn't contain a symbol. No, it's saying it's wrong. What? There's a mistake. Where? Oh, I guess this can go this way. But did I miscalculate? That's 12? Okay, I just cannot count, dude. Oh, it was possible to reach this with 2 and... Okay. Sorry, I just thought that... Wait, what did I think? I don't know what I thought. I just made a really bad oversight. Well, anyway. Anyway, since this has to be 12, which I knew, I know this has to happen. And now I know that 12 sees 10, so it can pick 2 more up. And we also know that it has to pick 2 up on this edge, because these 5 tiles only belong to this and 12. They cannot belong to that because it would cut 12 off. So we know that out of these 5 tiles, 2 have to be 12 and 3 have to be this. And 12 can only see 2 more tiles, so they have to be that. And so now this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, and we're done. Dude, I just cannot count. Or like I made a mistake here where I thought incorrect thoughts. Solitude, Palisade, Polyomino. Okay, these all belong to polyominoes. And what? Well, this needs 2 orthogonal 1x3s, which means it has a 3x3 bounding box. So it cannot avoid picking that up, because if it does this, it cannot fit the 3x3 bounding box anywhere. So it must go this way. And now we also see that this will be a 1x3 either like that or like that. And the 1x3 that is orthogonal to it only fits in here or in here. So one of those will have to happen. Ah, and this cannot happen, because now this tile cannot see a symbol. Because it cannot see that symbol or that symbol, and it has no access to any others. So this must happen, and this must happen. This has to now be vertical. This happens. This happens. And this cannot see that tile can only see this. And now we could do that, and we would break the puzzle because of this tile, so we cannot do that. In fact, we know that this belongs to... Sorry, we know... what am I trying to say? No, all we know is this cannot happen, because if that happens, this or this, and this tile breaks in both cases, so we must draw that. And now that this is a corner, it's either a dead end, which it cannot be, and if it's not a dead end, then it has to do that, and now it cannot do this, so it must do this. So now this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. Solitude, mingle shape, area number, palisade. Mingle shape means that the twos cannot see each other. And solitude means that dead ends have to expand. Until they find a symbol. Twos cannot see each other. Oh, not only do dead ends have to expand, neither of these can be a part of the twos, so they're part of this. Oh, and also this exists. And these are not in range of any twos, so anything not in range of a two has to be this, and now this happens, and this happens. And anything that's not a part of this is a part of a two. This can only be a part of this two, this can only be a part of that two. So now all the other stuff bordering a two. Twos are fully surrounded by red because they cannot touch other twos, and only twos and this red exist in this set, in this board. Also, we had this, by the way. So everything surrounding that is red. Now this happens, and this done. Cool puzzle. Solitude Palisade. So there are 3 regions here. And we know that this sees one of them. Which means one of these two is vertical. One of these two has to be vertical because they can't both be horizontal because they can't be a part of the same region. But could they both be vertical? If they're both vertical, then so is this. And if one of them is horizontal, then so is this. Are there consequences of that? Well, I suppose there's something we see here. This is some region. So neither of these can be alpha. But they also cannot be the same region either. The reason for that is because this would either, if this is beta, then it has this border, which is bad. Or like, it cannot have these borders, which is bad. Or if it's not beta, then it's forced to have these borders, which is bad. So what we know is that there are 3 colors here that are all different. Because we know this is some color, and we know these are at either 2 colors that are the same, which they cannot be, so then there must be 2 different colors. What does that tell us? 3 different colors here. Well, we could color them in and see what happens. So that's yellow or blue. Can this also be yellow or blue and that be red? Well, if we want to make this... Can this be blue? Well, we know, first of all, we know red has to get out, right? So, which way does red have to get out? Oh, we also know this is not red. So one of these two is red. Is there a problem if this is horizontal? Because if it's horizontal, it's not red. And that makes this red. And it also does this. Oh, sorry. Sorry. This cannot be horizontal. I'm just seeing that now. Because if it's horizontal, it forces both of these to not be vertical. Okay. This is not horizontal. So this is not yellow. It's red or blue. Also, this is now forced to be yellow. And this is forced to be taking up the middle. With some color. None of these here can... Well, no. None of these can be blue. This could still be blue because red can get out. But if this is blue... No, that could also be blue. But this cannot be blue and neither can that. So these two are purple or yellow. Or sorry. Red is... Oh, wait. Is red forced to be purple? Or can this still be red? Ah, wait, this cannot be red, because if it is, it would cut blue off. Okay, so this has to be red. And this has to be blue, and if that's blue, it forces all these tiles. And so this has to be like that. Or we knew that already from red. Red has to go here. That's not blue or yellow, so it's red. So red has to go pick that up and this. And this is not blue or yellow, so it's also red. So it has to do this. And that. And now here, there's both red and blue. We can't put red there, because then blue is there, and it has to cut red off. So this is red and this is blue. So now these are red. Oh, also this is not red, so it's blue. And now red picks the rest up. Nice puzzle. I just missed that, like, already from the start you can see that this cannot be horizontal, and I just missed that. Because it would make both of these horizontal and they would see each other and the puzzle breaks. So I didn't even have to do that whole alpha, beta, gamma thing. Whatever. Solitude. Dead end expansion. Forces that. Dead end expansion. These cannot see each other. And now something interesting happens here. If we do this, then this happens. And if we do not do that, then... Well, this could still happen. No. I'm not paying attention. I did not check the rules. Why am I solving the puzzle when I didn't check the rules? Start over, read the puzzle, and then... Or read the rules and then start the puzzle. Solitude, mismatch, palisade. Now we can start. Dead end must expand. And this is forced. These cannot see each other because of solitude. Mismatch. All regions must have different shape. Okay. So, one of these has to expand, because if neither expands, mismatch. Not to mention, all regions must have different shapes, so it's global. Which means these two are together, because if we draw this, the puzzle breaks. So these two are together, they see one of those. And we cannot do any move that creates a 1x2. Also, dead end must expand. Are there any moves right now that would create a 1x2? No. Not that I can see. So one of these picks that up and becomes a triangle. And then the other has to expand. Ah, I see a move that would create a 1x2. This move. So that move is not allowed because it would create a 1x2. So these are together. And now we cannot create, now we cannot make this move because it would create a triangle which already exists here. So this has to happen. Now we cannot do this because it would break the symbol. So this happens and this happens because these are together. And now this can't sit as a 1x2, so it must expand. This now happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. And this can't stay as a 1x2 or as a triangle. And this is the only tile left it can pick up. These both expand. They both have to expand further or else they would be a 1x2. This cannot stay as a 1x3. And this cannot stay as an LJ. Done. Solitude Palisade. This can pick up 16. Solitude Palisade area. Dead End expansion. There are no borders on the board forcing two different colors. But this creates borders forcing two different colors, which means one of these at least, or sorry, exactly two of those is 16. Okay, so the closest I can make them is these two. And then what's the closest the 16 can pick them up? It would have to move diagonally somehow. Or I guess, actually it doesn't matter, does it? Because we're in an orthogonal world, so diagonals are not the shortest route. An orthogonal would be the same distance. And so we actually do have an orthogonal, so this does count the distance. But which orthogonal we choose matters, actually. If we chose this one, then we would actually have to pick all of those up. And that's too many. So we cannot choose that. If we chose this one, we have to at least pick those up. And that's no good. So we actually can't even choose orthogonals. So right now I can't even find a path that works because this orthogonal path doesn't work. Not to mention we would have to pick that up too. Neither does that. So we have to and these paths don't have useful branches. So we simply won't be going through here or through here. So we will have to go through the middle somehow, which forces this. And then if we go this way, we have to pick an extra one up, so let's not. Ah, wait, if we go this way, we only have to pick two up. These two. If we go this way, we have to pick three up. So let's pick two up. And now we're at 14. So that's still no good. What? I can't even find the solution. I can't... What? I can't even find a way to do this. What the heck? How is it not this? Yeah, that's not it. Oh, sorry. No, but this still picks two up, no? No, this works, sorry. But why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? What am I? Where is the extra tile? Oh, this is equivalent to that, not to this. Okay, I thought this was equivalent to this in the between the two paths. Like between this path and this path, I thought this is this tile, but this is actually that tile. Okay. Never mind. So that's an extra tile I should have counted between these two paths. Alright, alright, alright. So we found the 16, and I believe that is the only 16 that exists. And then we just need to observe that it cannot go through here, because it would cut these off, so it must go through here, and now I can color the rest of them. Sure. But this was the brute force solution. And I don't like that. Because I brute forced the possible paths. But I don't think another solution exists. I think all the solutions to this puzzle require proof by contradiction and process of elimination. Like through proof by contradiction, we can eliminate what possibilities the 16, what paths the 16 could take to pick those up, and we're left with the one we found, so whatever. Done. Metallicize, let's find the hidden puzzles. Or the locked puzzles, or whatever. Locked and hidden. Solitude, precision 4, palisade. Solitude means no thingies can see one another. Okay. And then we can start asking questions. For example, every tile has to see a symbol within 4 steps. This can only see blue, so it is blue. Blue is now done. This can only see that, so that's done. This could not see anything other than that, for if it does, it couldn't be purple, and if it does this, this cannot precise 4. So these are the same. And now they must get out that way. We cannot do this, because then it breaks. So we have to pick that up. And now this happens. And now this can't be red, so it's purple. So purple is done. So this happens. So this happens. And this, no matter what, has to get out this way, because if we do that, the puzzle breaks. So it does this, 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 this. This, 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 this. This now cannot see blue or pink, so it can only see this symbol, so that happens. This could have just been an area number 4. It did not have to be a palisade. But I guess it's better not to do that, because that would introduce an extra rule for no reason, I suppose. This has to get out this way, because even if it goes there, it still has to go here, and therefore once it goes there, it cannot go here. This must. And this has to go this way. And now this has to get out. This has to get out. This, 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 that, 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 and we're done. Solitude, precision 5, palisade. So this either does that, in which case this gets a border here, or it does this, in which case this gets a border here. So this always gets a border here or here, so in both cases must pick both of those up, and that, and one of these up, so it can't pick things up here. Okay. Then this cannot pick both of those up because it breaks that. So it either picks up 0 of them or 1 at most. So it must pick up either this or this always. If it picks that up, this happens. And this happens. So either we live in that world when this picks up west, or if it does not pick west up, then because it can't pick up both east and south, it will have to pick north up. But we saw that even when it picked west up, it still had to pick north up, so it must always pick north up, which forces this and that. And now this, no. I was gonna use precision 5 by saying that this can't pick that up, but it could pick that up, I think. This can still be seen by red. This corner can still be red. Ah, wait, this is not yellow. But it can be red, no? It can. It can be red or blue. What about this? Could this be purple? Or does it have to be green? It cannot be red or yellow or blue. It's purple or green. Can it be purple? Well, if it is purple, then this happens, and then this happens, and then green breaks. So it's not purple. So it is green. And now green can't be horizontal, actually. In fact, once we saw the yellow can't have a border there, already green couldn't be horizontal because this tile breaks. So green is vertical. And has to take that. And so this is non-green. It can't be red, blue, or yellow, so it must be purple. Purple expands in that direction. Green has to go there. Red just got a border here, so this happens and this happens. This can only now be blue. Purple still needs to expand. Red has to grab those and we're done. Nice. Solitude, area number, palisade. Corner expansion and area number expansion. Okay. Can the 6 reach or the 5 reach here? The answer is no. So blue has to reach there. Now one of those is blue. So one of these is a border. How the heck does this puzzle solve? I'm so confused. What am I missing? Oh, I suppose what I'm missing is the fact that... Am I missing that this can't be fully surrounded by just one other color? Like if we do that... What's wrong with this? Why can't we just do... Oh, sorry. Okay. I see it now. I see the issue. The issue is that I believe this must be The two borders for this must be one color, because if they're two different colors, then due to them being small area numbers, we can't pick all of this stuff up because blue will be cut off from this area. If we want blue to have both red and yellow borders on this tile, well, clearly red can't reach there, or there, or there. So if we want this to have both red and yellow borders, red will have to reach here. And then red must pick this up as well, because red can't reach there without picking that up, because that's too many tiles, for instance. So these will be red. And because we said we want this to have both red and yellow borders, now either this is yellow or that's yellow. If that's yellow... Oh, no, sorry. Once this is... Okay. Let me start. So, I'm trying to prove that this must have... Because we know this will have borders, right? And we know those borders are either yellow or red. Okay. And I'm trying to tell you that red cannot be one of those. Because the only way red could be a border is like this. And if red is a border like that, then this now goes there. And now, that can't be red. Neither can that. That can't be yellow. So now this is still a... Like, there still needs to be a border here or here. This couldn't be a border because the puzzle breaks. Because nobody can pick it up. So this has to be a border, and it's not red, so it's yellow. Okay, now here's a problem. The problem is, for instance, we can take this tile. Nobody can pick this tile up. Or like, you know, technically, yeah, like yellow can't. And red can't. So the puzzle just breaks. So the moment red is a border, the puzzle breaks. So red cannot be a border. So now that means that yellow has to be both borders. But how can yellow do that? Well, if we try to make it this, obviously yellow can't reach that. So anything yellow cannot reach around this tile is not a border, because both borders must be yellow. And there are exactly two, so that's not a border. Yellow could reach this. Or this, but... what now? Like, how do I differentiate between this? Well, it's obvious. Oh, I see. This can't be yellow. Sorry. Because now this would happen, and yellow needs another border, which has to be specifically this. But now yellow can only pick one more tile up, which has to be this. And now that gets isolated. So that's not yellow, so this has to happen. So these are yellow. And now we can't draw that, because yellow would have to pick too many tiles up. So we have to do this. Yellow now can only pick one more tile up, which has to be that. And now anything red cannot reach has to be blue, which is, for example, this tile. And this tile. And this tile. And now blue, to reach those, will have to go through here, which forces this, 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 this. Nice puzzle. Solitude, area number, palisade. Dead end expansion. I should be using scroll wheel. All right. Solitude, area number, palisade. So one of these three. This has to have... Oh, in fact, sorry, this is forced already. Okay. And that's not green or red or blue. So this is yellow or purple. Ah, and it's not purple, is it? Because if it's purple, purple can't go through here or else it cuts the 4 off. So it would have to go through here, but that cuts the 5 off. Yeah. It does. So it's not purple. But is that strong enough logic? Yeah, I'm not sure that I like using that logic. Let's instead... Oh, here is a better logic. The better logic is that 4 has to pick something up from this, from these 3. So if this... So yeah, let's just ask what color this is. Because 4 has to expand into this column, and so does 5. Purple cannot go up here at all. Because the 4 will take something here. 4 has to take at least this or this. In both cases, if purple tried to get around the 4, it has to specifically go through these 3 tiles. Or these 3. This cuts 5 off. This cuts 4 off. Sorry, I meant to do that. Wait, no, this is possible. Damn it. I mean, it cuts the 3 off, but I don't like that proof. That's like solving the whole puzzle with bifurcation. I don't like that. So what am I supposed to see? Because I don't see why I can't just easily make it yellow if I wanted to. Is there some other tile that gets broken? Like, why can't I just do whatever the heck I want? Like this. Oh, I cannot do that. Wait. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like doing this sort of trial and error nonsense. I hate it. Okay. So. This is yellow or purple. We know that. And I don't see anything else that I could be thinking about except for that. So it's yellow or purple. Yellow or purple. And therefore this is also yellow or purple because it can't be red, it can't be green, it can't be blue because it's too far from all of them. But it also cannot be teal because teal would have to then get out and cut orange off because orange is not teal or red. So this is also orange. Now what? Wait. Ugh. I didn't complete my notes at the start of solving this puzzle. I should have drawn this. In fact, I should have drawn this. And that just does a lot of work. That does a lot of work. So, can orange still be purple? Not if 4 does that. Not if 4 does that. So it can only be purple if 4 does that. And then we would kill the 5. I can see that. But I'm not sure I want to use that as logic. So what else could I do? Is the puzzle broken if 4 cuts purple off? Yeah. This is not yellow, so it's purple, green, or blue. But if green goes here, then it has to be blue. And now nobody can pick this tile up. Well, okay, wait. We can immediately see this tile has to be blue because it's clearly not green. It's not teal, it's not red. It's not purple. So it's yellow or blue. But if yellow tried to grab it, it would have to go through here. And now this is forced to be blue, so that immediately contradicts. So this is blue always. And if that is blue, we can't draw that, because then blue picks too many tiles up. So these are blue. And now this is not blue. It's green or purple. I'm still not seeing the solution. Oh, so it's green or purple. Green or purple? What the heck? How is this so tough? Oh, wait, sorry. Yellow can only go in one direction. That's, I think, what I've been missing. Yellow can only go one direction. And is yellow forced to go south no matter what because of these 3 tiles? I mean, not really, because like, oh, but I guess, oh, I think I understand. I think we can't do this, right? Because if we do that, then purple can't help out anymore. Oh, right, sorry, this can't be blue anymore. It's green or purple, and so green can't do that. Because orange is not teal, so teal can't get out. So green cannot do that. So now this is blue or purple. If it's blue, then... Oh, I get it. Okay, so orange is yellow or purple. And if yellow goes south, then orange is purple. So if ever yellow goes south, sorry, if I meant to say, if yellow goes south, orange is purple, because yellow can't go north once it goes south, and it can't go through here. So the only way yellow could be orange is if we draw this. And what that means is, it means something. It means, yes, it means blue cannot cut purple off either like this or like that. Because once blue does anything except for this, so the point is we're not allowed to draw this border, because if we draw this border, then blue has to cut purple off from this tile, and so yellow would have to pick that tile off, up. And blue cuts purple off from orange as well, but yellow can't pick orange up as either, so blue simply has to always take this tile. That completes blue. And now yellow can't come down here, neither can green, so purple has to pick these up. And now this can be green or purple. Well, we know yellow goes north and red goes east, so now orange has to trickle out. Oh, and green has to cut purple off, so orange is indeed yellow. There we go. Solitude Palisade, Dead End Expansion. This time, let's make sure to complete all the notes the moment we touch a shape. So this note has to be written. This note. And that's it, I think. Now let's look at the most potent shapes, which are usually the parallel lines. What do the parallel lines... Oh, wait. We're not done. These cannot be the same, and this forces this and this. And this and this. Or like this. And that forces this and this and this and that and that. And this. These edge triple border palisades are always gonna be 1x2s. Or no, sorry, they... Well, no, yeah, not because of the... Not in a vacuum, but in this board state, yes, because whichever way this goes, it can go further, and it can't... So these are always 1x2s. And then what? I suppose these domino across, like once one of them is horizontal, the rest have to be, and once one of them is vertical, the rest have to be, and clearly we can't do it horizontally because these, so like we can see they must domino because they all as long as they form a chain where every neighbor is at most one row and one column apart, they are chained together to be in the same orientation. And so all four of these are chained together to be in the same orientation, and that orientation cannot be horizontal because these two see each other horizontally. So they must all be vertical. Oh, I love these colors that the game is giving me. They're so distinct from each other. Thank you, game. Thank you for being so kind. Okay, so now we have to draw all these various borders in. Ugh, I don't like how I did that. Let me be more systematic about it. So, first, the symbol borders. Second, the color borders. Third, well, this is technically a color border, so like this, okay. Now, dead end expansion, block, dead end expansion. Ah, here's another border. So this must do that. Color border, symbol border. This does this. Then there is pressure between these two. This, we know it has to pick 3 up, and it cannot, those 3 cannot include these 2 because that kills that, which means that it must always pick these 2 up. Because the moment it chooses to put its border there, it picks those 2 up and that dies. So, or you know, same here. So it must pick these 2 up, which draws some borders. Once this border is drawn, that happens, and this happens. And this must expand here or here. I think we simply run out of tiles if this goes east, because this dies. So this can't go east, it must go west. And again, if this continues, like, if yellow doesn't go here, we run out of tiles. Because if it goes there, this happens. So yellow has to go there. Okay. And now this is horizontal. Done. Cool puzzle. Solitude Palisade Polyomino. Dead end expansion. Oh, this, they're using the palisade as a throwaway symbol. That's cool. None of these can see one another. This is size 5, so it must expand. Can't go there. This is a dead end. There are 3 possible dead ends. It cannot be that one, because that one, once it takes a step, it needs 2 orthogonal steps in different directions. If it's that one, then it's this and that, which seems possible. And if it is this one, then it's that. And at the first step, it needs an orthogonal, which can only be that, which forces this. So we either live in this world, or we live in... So this is the one where it's that tile. Or we live in the world where it's this. So it must always pick this tile up, and then either finish like that, or like... what was the other? This. So that finish, or this finish. Okay. Then what? I suppose what we can say is this, you know, has to see all these corners because they're too far from the polyominoes, so like corner expansion and whatnot, but also can this, like this, we'll have to cut that off either here or here, because this can't... Well, first of all, this is not allowed to pick both of them up, but it's also not allowed to pick neither up, I think. For instance, if we want to say, okay, red, we need to give red an escape somewhere. If we're like, okay, we're gonna give red an escape through here, then this happens, and when that happens, this either has to be the dead end, that's a 1x3, which cuts the red off here, or it has to be this, which again cuts red off through this passage, or it has to be this, which is instantly broken, or this, which still cuts red off. So the moment we give red access to this passage, we cut it off from this passage. And the moment we don't give red access through this passage, we must give it access through this passage. So does that help in any way? Oh, I think we cannot give it access through this passage because this would be broken. We would have to do this, which breaks the shape. Like if we say that this shape prevents red from going through this area, then red would have to go through this area. But that's no good because this shape breaks. So we now know this shape is not allowed to cut red off because red has to escape through here. So does that force this shape somehow? Let's think. First, let us ask, can this avoid being a dead end? If it's not a dead end, it needs to have 2 neighbors. Is this possible? In this case, it's not this tile because it cannot have 3 neighbors. So if it has 2 neighbors, it's one of these 2 tiles. Sorry. Only this tile has 2 neighbors in this shape. So can it be this tile? Then one of these is a dead end. Oh, then it's part of a 1x3. And it can't be that 1x3. So it'd have to be this 1x3. And it would have to be this. So it could actually be that. Because that doesn't cut red off. And it doesn't cut this shape off. So it could be that. Let's ask, could it be a dead end? First, let's ask, could it be this dead end? If it's this dead end, then we know it always cuts red off, because it's either this, or it's this, or it is... Well, it could also be this, 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 or this. All of them cut red off, so it can't be that dead end. Could it be this dead end? That could be this. That works. So it could still be that dead end, actually. So maybe I'm not supposed to look there. Too many possibilities means that contradiction needs too deep of a bifurcation, which I don't like. So what about this shape? Could it be the 2 neighbor shape? It couldn't be that. It could be this. No, because this cuts red off. Oh, sorry. Okay. Once we've confirmed that red has to go through here, we now know that this cannot be that because that forces this to cut red off. Because now this has to be a dead end. It couldn't be that. It couldn't be this. And it couldn't be this. Or this. In all cases, red gets cut off. So this cannot be that version. Which means that this dead end cannot be the 1x3 dead end. So it has to be this. And that, once it takes a step, it needs to do an orthogonal 1x3. And then here it needs to move away from the origin, so it's this. Okay. This must be red. No. Why did I draw this border? Okay, this is some color, and it's not red. Because if it's red, then this will cut red off again. So this is some color that has to... We cannot draw this border now. Yeah, now that... Or could we always draw? I don't know anymore if we could always draw the border, but now we can't. So... Yeah, these have to be together. And does that force the shape? Well, let's ask about this. This cannot be the 1x3 because that cuts that off. So let's just draw the shape in. So it's not the 1x3 dead end. Could it be the T shape? Yes. Could be that. Or that. Could it be this one? No. It cannot be this one either, because if it tried to be that one, then once it takes a step, it needs to draw a 1x3 orthogonally, which it cannot. So it must be the T shape. So it's either this or this. And in all cases, this has to be red, because this can't reach it, because if it tries to, it will cut red off. So that's red. That's red, that's red, all of these are red. That's also red, because if that's not red, then it's this, and then red would have to go through here and cut it off, so that's red as well. And I think that's also red, because if it's not red, then this has to do a 1x3 to collect it, and then red is cut off again. So that's also red. Okay, now this red has to come out through here, through these 3 tiles, and it has to collect all of that. Okay. Could this be the 2 neighbor situation? Then the 1x3 that it sees has to be that, and the end of the 1x3 has nothing, so it needs to do that, but that's no good. So this can't be the 2 neighbor. And it cannot be the central, because the central is part of the middle of a 1x3, and this has 2 borders like that, so it can't be that either. So could it be... It cannot be the T dead end, because the T dead end has to take a step and then 2 orthogonals, which it can't do anywhere. Can it be... It can't be the 1x3 dead end, because that one moves and then creates a 1x3. Either this or this, because it can't go up, and both of them cut red off. So it must be this. That one is part of a 1x3, which has to be this. And then after the first step of the 1x3, it will do one orthogonal move, which is forced to be that, and after the second, it does an opposite orthogonal move. So now these are all red. This now is a dead end. And which one can it be? It's not the T-shaped dead end. It could be the 1x3 dead end. Can it... Like the... Sorry, I should call that... This I should call the LJ dead end, and this should be called the 1x3 dead end. So whatever I called it here was wrong. So this I should call the 1x3 dead end, and this could be the 1x3 dead end like... No, it can't. Because after the first step, it must take this orthogonal move, and the opposite after the second step, and now this is cut off. So it cannot be the 1x3 dead end, so it must be the LJ dead end. Because we know it's not a 2 or 3 neighbor cell. So it's that which takes a step and then creates a 1x3 orthogonally, must be here, and must be this. This now can only be the T-shaped dead end, because it's not the 1x3 dead end, and it's not the LJ dead end either. So it is the T-shaped dead end, which has to do this and that. Now this has to do this, and all other cells must be red. Done. Nice. Let me grab some water. Solitude, Polyomino, Palisades. Let's reuse red for this. Because it's gonna be our shape that picks stuff up. Alright, so none of the Palisades can be together. Or sorry, none of the polyominoes or any symbols can be together. Now, let's count 21, and we have 3 times 5 is 15, so red has to come in. 21, and we have 6 plus 5 is 11, so red has to come in. 21, and we have 5 plus 5 is 10, so red has to come in. 21, and we have 4 times 3 is 12, so red has to come in. Okay. Now, this one cannot, so this cell here cannot be the central cell, which is the center of a 1x3, because it would have to be vertical, and it would have to isolate cells along the edge. So this is not that cell. So it's either the end of a one, well, I don't know. There are too many options. Let's not look there. It's clear that we have to solve each of the 4 regions individually. So since we've started here, let's finish this region. What about this? If it does that, I think it just... Yeah, it can't go to this corner because this has to be red, and for it to get out, it has to isolate that shape. And what about this corner? If that's red, it isolates that shape, so it would have to not be red. And so it would have to be this. And that is a possibility. In fact, that is probably the solution. Because we know the solution has to be unique. So what about if it goes to this corner? Then red has to go there, which is bad because it isolates this. Now what about if it goes to this corner? Then red still has to go at least here if this picks all of those up. Or at worst there, but like, you know, here it means it has to isolate that. Okay, so yellow cannot go up. So it has to go down. And it can't go here, obviously, because red breaks it. So yellow has to go here. I think that's probably the intended solution. I don't think that this is very deep bifurcation. So I'm gonna use it as the solution. And now this can't be red because it would isolate that, so it has to be green. So this is forced to be the shape. And now this can't be red because then it would isolate that shape, so it has to be that shape. And now the rest is red. Okay. So we didn't even need that logic, we just needed to look at yellow. Now the next easiest one for me, I think, is gonna be this. So let's do this. Let's see what we see. Can this cell be a 2x2? Yes. Can it avoid being a 2x2? Maybe. So we don't know much. What about this? This is the only 2x2 it could be, and then it can't do that. And could it avoid being a 2x2? No. Because it couldn't go this way. No, it could. It could do that. No, then it's a 2x2. Can this be not a 2x2? Then it has to pick a direction. Cannot be that. Cannot be that because of this cell. Oh, in fact, the moment it avoids being a 2x2, yeah, it can't go this way because this cell can't be it. Because what if this is not a 2x2 cell? Like if it's the dead end cell, then it goes in exactly one direction, and wherever it goes, the next cell has to be part of the 2x2. So it couldn't go this way. It cannot go that way. But if it cannot go this way, this has to get out. And now this can't go this way either because it can't do that or that. And it can't go here and it can't go anywhere. So it has to be part of a 2x2, and the only 2x2 it can be a part of is this. And now it can't do that. It must do this, this, or this. This, if it is part of a 2x2, the puzzle breaks because the only 2x2 it now can be a part of is this. But now red cannot get in further. And we know that red has to get in further because there are 10 cells remaining and these two can only pick up one each. So there are 8 cells remaining at least. Because these could also just not pick them up. But you know, if they're nice enough to pick them up, there are still 8 cells left and only one shape that can pick at most 5 up. So this cannot be a 2x2. So it must be that. Now, it cannot go east because then this cell can only be this 2x2, and now there are 8 cells among 6 that can be picked up. So we can't go that way. We can't go this way because this can be a 2x2. We must go this way. This is part of a 2x2. That's the only 2x2 it can be a part of. This now is here. This now is there. This now is here. So that's not a 2x2. So that is. So this happens, this happens, this happens. Okay. Now let's do maybe this. Because this seems like a limited shape. Can this be the corner? Well, if it is the corner, then it needs to be a part of a 2x2. And diagonally from it... Well, wait. If it is the corner, it needs a 3x3 bounding box. So... it has to at least be... like, it can't be up here. Or up here. So, and it can't be here. So, it can't be here. Or here. Because if, you know, this cell needs to go, needs to see this. The middle of the 3x3 bounding box is, like, all of these have to be. So, actually, why don't we just look at its bounding box first, in general? Because we know this has to, like, in its bounding box, it has to do that. And here's the thing that we can see. The bounding box can't be here, here, here. Because none of those can facilitate a plus, obviously. It could be here. It could be here. It cannot be here. It probably can... yeah, it cannot be here. It cannot be here. It cannot be here. Okay. So it cannot be like this at all. It must be somewhere here, which is either that or this. Those are the two options. So either this or this. One of those two, and it's not this. Because that would isolate one of the corners, because it can only pick one corner up. So the only option left is this. Okay. And now it picks one of those two corners up. Then, what's next? How many does red have to pick up from the rest? Green picks one of them up, so there are 14 left. This picks 5 of the 14 up, which leaves 10, or sorry, 9. So red still has to get in at least here, and then red still needs to pick up 7 more. So that's not red, I think, because it's more than 7. Yeah, and it would cut that off anyway. So the green actually has to take that, because this can't take that. Because this is not possible in this shape. Because it would be isolated there. So green has to pick it up. Now this needs a 2x4 bounding box. And the 2x4 bounding box needs at least 5 tiles. This technically has 5 tiles, but no good. This can't be red. Okay, that makes it easy. So this can't be red because red would cut that off. So this happens, and this now can't be yellow. Because once we have the 3x3, we expand from the edge of the 3x3 into the 1, or sorry, the 1x3 I meant. Once the 1x3 exists in this shape, we attach a 1x2 from one of the corners of the 1x3. So this can't be, so now this is red. And once that's red, red has to get out. And now yellow can only be this, so the rest are red. Alright, that leaves us with this. What do we know about that? Well, I have no idea. I have no idea. This cannot be the middle, because if it tries to be the middle, then it's the middle of a 1x3, which can only be that. And now it can't pick all of those up, so it's not that one. Can it be the... Can it be the... two neighbors situation? No. If it's the two neighbors situation, then this has to be one of them, because it can't be those two. So, and then the other is either this or this, and in both cases it isolates something because it has no 2x2s. So it's not that either. So it is one of the dead ends, which is interesting, because it means it can only pick up one of these 3 tiles. So which dead end does it have to be? Also, okay, hold on. So let's make this blue, and let's make this yellow. So we know blue can only pick up one of its 3 neighboring tiles, these purple tiles. Blue can only pick up one of the purple tiles. And therefore, I believe it can also only pick up one of the orange tiles at most. Right? Yeah, I think so. What if blue doesn't pick up any orange tiles? Then either red or yellow has to. But can red pick both? Oh. I don't know. Maybe that's not the way I'm supposed to be thinking. Okay, let me just go through the options. Can it be the T-shape dead end? If it is, it can't go south because it needs more space. Cannot go east because it can't take either of those two tiles. Would have to go west and forced to do that, and that's no good. So it's not the T-shaped dead end. Is it the 1x3 dead end? It could be. Could be that. But that possibly is the only option, I think. Yes, it is. So it's, if it is the 1x3 dead end, it's specifically that. And if it is the LJ dead end, then it couldn't go that way. So, and it can't go down, so it'd have to go this way. And that's not good, so it's not the LJ dead end. So it's forced to be the 1x3 dead end, and it's not this way, or that way. So, it has to be this. And now the orthogonal move at the end of the 1x3 is forced to be that, and so the other one is forced to be this. This now can't be yellow, so it's red. So that's red. And I think this can't be yellow, right? Or can it? No, it can. And in fact, it must. Because if it's not yellow, if it's red, then at best, red can give yellow not enough space. So it is yellow. And so that's yellow. And now yellow needs one more tile, which must be this. And we're done. Cool. These puzzles that have different independent areas are kind of cool. Solitude area number polyomino palisade. Solitude area number polyomino palisade. So only Solitude is a global rule, the others are all visible on the board. So it's only Solitude that we have to keep in mind. The rest we can see. Okay. Where do we begin? Maybe with this. The reason we begin with that is because we know it has a 3x3 bounding box of which it picks up the center, and it can't be that. It can't be anything up here because it's not enough room. It's not that. There are only, by the way, there are only 9 bounding boxes, right? That this can have. Which are the 9 places we can slide the 3x3 box around this cell. So like, you know, this cell can be either here. Well, obviously, it can't be the corner of its own bounding box, so we actually only need to check 5 options. This cell here is one of those 5, and so we just need to check those 5 3x3s. This one, it's not that. So let me just show what I'm talking about. So it's not this one, because it's not this. Let's check this one. Could be. Could be that. This one. No, because it cuts this off. So it's not that. Is it the central? No, because it cuts that off. Is it the northern? No, because of this. So it can only be that 3x3, which is this. So that's forced. All right. Dead end expansion. Now what? I guess we are supposed to look at this shape next. So that again. That one is a bit more complicated because it's not the shape that's symmetrical in all directions. But we can probably see something. Yeah, so it cannot be... If this is the corner, then it's either that, which could be, or it's this, which could be. If it is not the corner, though, then... Well, it could be that, or that, I suppose. So it could be the dead end, or it cannot be this. So it could be that or that. And if it's the middle, then... That's no good. That's fine. So it seems to have a lot of options. So maybe I'm supposed to look elsewhere. Well, I suppose whatever this is not. Because it can't pick it up. But who cares about that? I don't. I don't see how that helps us. Oh, well, I guess blue has to be purple or green. Right? Because it's not red and it's not the 4s. They're too far. So... And it cannot be purple, because look, if it wants to be purple, it can't go through here, obviously. It would have to go through here. Oh, it could be purple. Never mind. It could be purple. Interesting. Which means blue doesn't have to go this way. Ugh. So then what? Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm supposed to look at these. Look. They can't pick both up. Which means they need a neighbor of a different color. And it can't be red. But it can't be... wait, they cannot neighbor each other. Wait. Like, for example, could purple make it to be green's neighbor somehow? Now red is cut off. Oh. Well, now 4 is cut off. Now 4 is not cut off. Ah, so purple can make it to be green's neighbor. Can green make it to be purple's neighbor? Yes. Oh, man. Red can be purple's neighbor. Red cannot be green's neighbor, though. But green could get the 4 as its neighbor. Ay, 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 ay. Then what am I supposed to see? What am I supposed to see? Oh, maybe red is limited. Red can't isolate purple. So this is no good, because now purple is in trouble with its neighbors. So it's not that. So what is it then? But this can still be this corner, no? Yeah. Purple can pick all the rest up. So it can still be the corner. Ah, but it cannot be this, for example. Because then only purple can pick that up, and now these two tiles are in limbo. So... is it just limited then, or like... can it pick anything up from these tiles, actually? Or can I draw this border in? So if it does that, then at this point, it can't go here. So we draw this. Can't go there, so we draw this. And now it's forced to be the corner. Or, well, no. Not forced. But if it goes here, then it is the corner, and if it is the corner, it breaks, so we can't go there either. And now it's forced to do a 1x3 and another, and that's no good. Wait, no, that could work. That could work. No? Oh no. No, it can't, because only green can be blue now, and then nobody can be here. Okay, so that's no good either. So yeah, it simply cannot go west at all. Let me just reconfirm that. If I do this, then I cannot do that. And I cannot do that. And I cannot do this, because that forces that, and that's bad. Because purple can't have a neighbor. And if I do this, then that's a 1x3, and that has to be a 1x3. And now, blue can't be 4 or purple or red. It must be green, but if blue is green, then who was phone? Who is this? Nobody. Okay. So that proves that red can't go west. So if red can't go west, we draw that. And now what can red be? Well, can it go south? If it goes south, then it cannot go east. So it would have to do specifically this. And this is bad, because now this can only be purple, that can only be the 4, and these two tiles are in isolation. So it can't go south. So this now means that we live in one of 3 worlds. 1, 2, 3. No other world is possible. And all worlds isolate blue from... no, they don't. Sorry. I almost... oh, well, wait, we don't live in this world. Can we live in this world? No, we can't. Because now blue is green, and then this is 4, but if this is 4, then who is phone? Nobody. So we can't live in a world in which we go here, because we can't do that, and we can't do that. So, but then we must do this, and if we must do that, then we must do this and this. We're done. Okay, and now green can't be up there because it would cut 4 off. So this is part of the 4, and now 4 can't go there, so it must go there. So now this has to be green. And now that that's green, green has to say goodbye. I'm done. And now blue has to be purple. Or purple has to be blue. And we're done. It needed a lot of bifurcation on the red piece. Unless I missed some logic, but I feel like I did not miss any logic. So I was not too fond of that, because I don't like having to brute force all the possibilities of a shape and reach contradictions before I can progress. I just don't like that. Solitude Palisade area number. Okay, so only Solitude is a global spell. Or rule. Alright, let's draw. This happens, this happens. This happens, this happens. This happens, this happens. This happens. This happens. The 4 only has access to 4 tiles. Which means this happens, this happens, this happens. The 3 must go north and south. So this now does that, this now does this. And there is now some sort of thing happening where, like, there's a domino effect of some kind. The domino effect, let's just take which side should I take for the oh wait, before we do that, this is forced, and now the domino effect is forced. Well, there's no domino here though. Never mind. Wait, did I make a mistake just now? This. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this. This. Done. Solitude area number polyomino. This can go at most there, must go here. Okay. This? No, this can go anywhere. Okay. This can go up or down. This can go left or right. The 4 will force some issue. The 4 will force one of these to go inward. And once one of them has to go inward, the 5 has to expand, no matter what. Because if this happens, the 5 has to expand. If this happens, the 5 has to expand. And if this happens, no, the 4 is not forced to. Ah! Why did I think the 4 has to be a 1x4? What am I doing? I almost thought this was gonna be forced and that was the opening to the puzzle, but no. It is not. It is not in fact the opening. So maybe we're supposed to do some other dominoes. For example, can the 3 go here? I mean, look, I'm gonna do the whole thing and then either I'm right or wrong, and either way I'm unhappy. So let's not do that. Because if I'm right, then I'm not happy that I solved the puzzle through a random guess, and if I'm wrong, then I'm not happy that I just reached a contradiction that I would be tempted to use when I haven't earned it. Alright, let's ask about this. If it goes up, it forces this, which forces this. So what? Like, literally, who cares? Well, it also forces this, though. Wait, so... Oh, wait, what are... I guess the 7 always has to go this way, right? Because if the 7 doesn't reach this, the puzzle breaks up here, doesn't it? Because 3... Sorry, if this is not 7, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 have to go at least this far. Sorry, at least this far. But now, this breaks, so... What we can see here is that... If this happens, this comes out, and the 7 has to go out this way, and... Yeah, and if this doesn't happen, then this has to come down, and then the 7 still has to at least go this far. So, no matter what, the 7 will either be cut off here or here. So at best, it's this. At best, it's this. So it must always cut this off is the point, which means this must happen, 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 this must happen. Now the 7 is 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 5. Oh, the 7 only sees 7, so this all happens. This has to be part of the 5. And we're done. Okay, so yeah, that was the key here. The interplay between first the 4 forcing this to not be able to go this way. Because if that could go that way, then the 5 could actually... No. It still couldn't. 1, 2, 3, 4... Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4... Nah. Even if the 4 wasn't going that far, that logic still existed. So we didn't need the 4 preventing this, though it helped. So anyway, that was a cool puzzle. How many are we at? Oh. Really? I have not found hidden puzzles. Because I only see the boss puzzle. Oh, there's one here. Let me take a quick break though. Be right back. Alrighty. Solitude mingle shape palisade. So we have 2 global rules. Right. So we know that this is always a 1x2, right? Because if it goes there, it's done. Because it can't do that. And if it... Well, no, it could go there and move further. This can also move further. So that's not the opening. What is the opening? If this wants to avoid being a 1x2, it must go this far. Ah, wait. No, it's fine. Wait, maybe... We know this tile is one of those 2, so one of these 2 is a 1x2. Oh, that's cool, I think. Is it cool? Maybe it's not cool. Because I thought what it forces is that, like, this would have to happen. But it doesn't force that, because we could do this. And... something. Ah, in this case we couldn't do this, because if we do that, then this is forced to be a 1x2, and that's bad. So... if this... So let's just color these in for a sec. Red and blue. So if this is red, then blue can't go north, it has to go west. And if it is not red, then blue goes east. So blue can never go north. Right? Because this is red or blue. If it's red, blue can't go north. Wait, why am I saying blue? Oh, yeah. I'm saying blue can't go north because it would cut this tile off. Or it would be the same shape as red because... yeah. Alright, so blue can't go north when red is in the corner. And when blue is in the corner, blue still can't go north. So blue can never go north. Okay. And now... we can also say that if blue goes east, then red sees a 1x2. So red couldn't go north. So, and when red goes south, it still can't go north, so red can never go north either. Okay. Interesting. Because now this is one of these two. And I'm wondering whether I'm supposed to look there now and whether they also have this northern limitation in place. Well, could this be non-red? If this is non-red, then red is a 1x2. Blue can't be. And then this would have to be the non-red. But it would see a 1x2. So it can't be a non-red, actually. So this just has to be red. Which means this has to be blue. Which means red can't be a 1x2. Which means this is also red. Okay. Let me just go through that again, just to make sure I didn't make a mistake. If this is not red, this is red, this is blue. Blue can't stay as a 1x2, must go north. Yellow, isolated, must go north. Forces to lock. Red and yellow see each other as 1x2s. They mingled, and we're dead. So, this must be red, because it's not blue. And it's not non-red. Alright. And that locks this, so this can only be blue, blocks blue. Red can't be a 1x2, expands, this can only be red. Gets picked up. Alright, so now what? Now this tile. This tile is yellow or green. Or maybe let's turn red yellow and blue green. And let's go back to red and blue. Red and blue. Or, you know, let's make them in the same order they were. Alright, let's think about this again. So, one of them has to pick this up, and when it does, if blue picks it up, then blue is a 1x2. If red picks it up, then red is a 1x2, but blue has options. Yeah, this time they're not as limited as last time. But one of them has to be a 1x2, we know that. So whoever touches... No, wait. Is it true that whoever touches this... If red is not touching this, whoever touches it has to be a 1x2, is that true? Yes, it is. This tile, no matter which symbol it expands into, becomes a 1x2. Which means that the only way red is allowed to be a 1x2 is if it goes there, which means red cannot go there, or there, or there. Red can only go there, therefore, because this tile will always become a 1x2 And so red is not allowed to become a 1x2 except through here. But anywhere else red goes, it becomes a 1x2. So it is red. And so this is blue. Wait, but that breaks the puzzle, no? It does break the puzzle, because blue is now 1x2 as well. So the puzzle is already broken here, isn't it? No, it's not broken here. What? How? Red is forced to be a whatever. Oh wait, red is not forced to be a 1x2 whatever step it takes. What am I saying, dude? What am I saying? Sorry. Ugh, what am I doing, dude? Seriously. Okay, but I have proved that red can't take this. Because then for sure it's forced to be a 1x2, and now whatever this expands into breaks. Okay. So we know that, at least. So if we know that red can't pick that up, blue must. And blue becomes a 1x2. And so now red actually can't pick this up, because then it can't avoid being a 1x2, so it doesn't pick that up. And the thing is that all three of these, or all four of them, see this tile. And one of them have to pick it up and become a 1x2, but it means that the other three, none of them can be 1x2s. We already know red isn't. But the others cannot be either. What, if anything, does that force upon us? I don't know. Oh, but I do see something. I see that this can't pick that up. Because when it does, this is forced to become a 1x2 as well. So this border has to be drawn. And similarly, no, this could pick it up because this could escape. Wait, no, dude, what? This can escape. Why did I think it has to be a 1x2? What? So this could happen. What am I doing? Why am I like just messing that logic up every time? Oh wait, I think I see something. Red has to go east, because if it doesn't, all three of these cells have to go through this to get a symbol, but they can't. So red must go east. And it can't be a 1x2, so it must do that. Okay. Now it could do this or not do that, but... Ah! Red must go north, because if it doesn't, this happens, and this forces a 1x2 somehow. So red goes north and finishes, and this is now the 1x2. So this expands, and it can't finish as a 1x2, so it expands. Okay. Ah, and now this can't go west. Because if it goes west, it can't finish as a 1x2, so it does this, and this tile is now isolated. So this cannot go west, it must go south, and it cannot finish as a 1x2, so it does this. But it can't pick this tile up, so that tile must belong there. Okay. So I just see the solution, like I can just draw that in, but I don't want to. So, you know, let's go back to red and blue. So this is red or blue, and it cannot be red. Because if it's red, blue has to expand, can't finish as a 1x2, but it also can't finish like that either. So it's not red, so it's blue. And that does this. Forces that, and it can't finish as a 1x2, so it forces this. Done! Hooray! The boss puzzle remains. And we'll be at +1. Are there any other hidden puzzles? Yes. Solitude area number Palisade. Solitude mandates a dead-end expansion, and it can't be that, so it expands further. Now that this has expanded further, it has to be red or blue, because it can't be any of the area numbers. Incidentally, none of the area numbers can be together either. Okay. Okay, now whatever this is, it's red or blue. It can only reach red or blue through this passageway, because these are cutting it off. So it must visit these tiles. And this is red or blue as well, and it must use the same passageways as well as this passageway. So it must be connecting to this. Okay. What else? Oh, it also has to go this far as well. Okay. Okay. It doesn't join these. Or this. And if I'm not mistaken, red or blue have to exist up here somewhere, because, like, if they don't, like, you know, this tile breaks, and if this tile doesn't break, then this tile breaks. So one of these two tiles breaks. Either this resolves that tile and now nobody can resolve this tile, or this resolves this tile and now nobody can resolve this tile, because both of these tiles are only reachable by this cell. So red or blue must exist in here somewhere, and there's only one passageway leading in, so this happens. Could it be yellow? Could orange be yellow? Sorry, I meant this passageway. That's not needed, but this is needed and that is needed as well. So if orange is yellow, it cannot go through red, so it would have to circumvent red. Like, we would have to do this, but then orange gets stuck. So orange and yellow are different. So one of them is red, the other is blue. Can blue be orange? Yes. Can blue be yellow? Yes. Okay, so we don't know. We do not know. What else? Oh wait, there's a border here, by the way, and here. what else exists in this world? I guess let's start looking at this passageway. Must this passageway be used? My guess is gonna be that yes, it must, and this one as well. So let's go ahead and prove that. So does red or blue need to exist in this area? What's the easiest way of proving that? I guess the easiest way... Oh wait, nobody can reach this tile. Okay, well that's easy. So... yeah, red or blue exists in here, and there is only one passageway, which is this. And this as well. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and now this can't be green. Because if this is green, then the 3 has to cut it off. So if that can't be green, where green is the one of red or blue, both red and blue can't get in. One of them gets in, and it can't visit this, so only this 3 can. And now, both of these cells are too far from anything else. So they're both green. Oh, and also this is now forced to do that, by the way. Okay. One of these has to be green, because if neither of these is green, this is only reachable by that 3, and this is also only reachable by that 3. Well, no, it's fine. Never mind. False alarm. Okay, let's look down here. Where is the magic tile? There is no... is there? Well, this is the only magic tile, I think. Because if that's not red or blue, then only this can pick it up. And now these 3 tiles are only reachable by these 2. No, no. What? So, has to be this. Ah, this. Okay, so the way to prove this is the following. We look at these 4 symbols, and we see that they sum up to 11. And then we count these tiles, and they're 11. But nobody else can reach this tile. So the point is that if these symbols avoid... if these symbols try to pick that up, they have to remove something to be able to sum to 11. But whatever they remove would have to be red or blue, and red or blue can only come through here. So at least this has to be red or blue. Now it could be... now let me just make green yellow and this orange, because this obviously can't be that orange, and this obviously can't be this yellow. Or can it? No, I don't think it can. So I'll just use that color. Okay. Now, can I actually take more though? I think we can, because we could take more because this can go north. Oh no, wait. Once that becomes orange, this happens. And this happens, and this happens, and this happens. And now this can only be that, and this can only be this. Well, hell. And nobody can now be that, so... Well, but does it have to be orange, though? Couldn't it be yellow? Well, it's yellow or orange. Huh. I don't know. There's also some pressure mounting here. The pressure that mounts, I think, requires this right side yellow to be blue. Or does it? Wait. Yeah, I think so. So here's the situation. Let's just do this sort of thing. So, let me color this back to green and this to purple. So, we know that yellow, orange, green, and purple are all part of either red or blue or both. Well, not both, but you know, some combination thereof. Well, let's first ask about orange and yellow. Clearly, they cannot both be red. So between orange and yellow, one is red, the other is blue. Well, or both are blue. Can they both be blue, though? Well, yellow can only connect to blue through here. And orange can only connect to blue through here. So no, they cannot both be blue. So between yellow and orange, one is red and the other is blue. Okay. Now let's ask about green and purple. Between green and purple, they cannot both be blue. And they cannot both be red. Right? In fact, if orange tried to be red, then this has to happen, which means that automatically green... Sorry, why is it orange? Wasn't it purple? Purple. If purple tries to be red, it has to go through here, and that immediately causes green to be blue. So they can't both be red, and they can't both be blue. So between purple and green, one is red, one is blue. Between yellow and orange, one is red, one is blue. Therefore, between yellow and orange, one is purple, and between yellow and orange, one is green. And between green and purple, one is yellow, and between green and purple, one is orange. Can purple be orange? No. Because it would have to go through blue, but blue can't allow it to. So purple cannot be orange, therefore purple is yellow. We still don't know whether it goes... Yeah, purple can't be yellow through blue. Because... Yeah, because... So purple is yellow and red. So... It's yellow and red. So green is blue and orange is also blue. So this is all forced, which causes the puzzle to collapse, I believe. This, even if it goes north, must go south, which forces this and this. This now can only belong to that, and it cannot go through there, so it goes through here. All this happens, all this happens. This now has to be blue. So this happens, and we're done. That's a really cool puzzle. Amazing. I loved it. Okay. Is that everything? Or do we have other hidden boxes somewhere? Well, of course we have the boss puzzle still, but I mean before the boss puzzle. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't see anything. So let's go ahead and do the boss. Solitude, area number, palisade, polyomino. So Solitude is the only global mechanic. So these cannot connect, which immediately forces this and that. They still cannot connect. This we are aware of, which forces this. These cannot connect, which causes this. These cannot connect, but we don't know more. Or do we? No, I don't think so. And what about... So we can look at this. It cannot isolate the 5 like this. Cannot go east. Could go north. Cannot go south. So it's either central or north. Sorry, I meant it cannot go west. So it can't go east. It can't go west. It can be central or northern. But that doesn't give us any borders because it can be central. But it does tell us that it is not any of those. So it's one of those two. Either that by being the central or this by being the northern. It cannot be the western and it cannot be the eastern. Okay. Cool story. But now because it can't be the northern, this tile cannot see this, so this tile has to see this. And same for this tile. This shape cannot pick it up, so it must be there. And now this needs to complete the 1x4, either like that or like this. But either way, it cannot see those, and now these has to happen. Therefore, this has to happen. Dead end expansion. The 5 now has to go there because it sees only at most 4. Also, this can't be green, so it has to belong to the 5, which means this has to be picked up by the 5 as well. And now the 5 can go at most this far, so both of these tiles cannot connect to the 5 and must seek a symbol, and this they must go through the 3 to find the symbol. And once they do, they can't expand further, which forces this and this, and this and this. And it can't go to this symbol, so it must continue seeking a symbol. And once it does, this happens and this happens. Okay. Then, this tile cannot find a symbol through the 2 or the yellow, because it can't be yellow. So it must escape in this direction, seeking a symbol. It could be this, or could it be the 7? It could be the 7, unfortunately. So we don't know more. But I think what we do know is blue can't be this, because if it tries to be, it must go through here and here. And now we need to attach a 1x2 to the tip of the 1x3. Couldn't be here, couldn't be there, and it couldn't be there. The reason why it can't be there is because this tile can't belong to yellow or the 2, so it just dies. So this tile can't be this shape, so it must seek another symbol. Sorry, it can't be this symbol, so it must seek another symbol. And the only direction left is through this. And now this can't draw that because it has no 1x3s inside. It can go at most that far. It cannot go here. It can go at most that far, which is size 3, 4, 5. It must at least go that far. And now it either completes here or here. Either way, this is not blue. So it must find this symbol. It could still be red. Oh no, it can't, sorry, because now it's this shape. And the 1x2 is done. So now we need the 1x3 here to be horizontal. It must be specifically that. So that locks this. And it causes this red to have to be 7. And 7 cannot isolate. Well, in this area now, these 3 tiles can only be the 7. And so the 7 is done. 2 is forced to be here. Yellow has to be there. This needs to seek a symbol, and it has found one. Okay, what else? Maybe this area looks tempting, and this area looks tempting. I like this puzzle. Very cool. Let's look at this area. So, can blue be this? No. Because if it tries to be, it must go through here, and now once we have a 1x3, we need to do this or this, and we can't do either. So these two must connect. What about this? Could this be that? It could. Not like this though, it would be like that. And could it be this? No, it cannot. Yeah, we actually know something here. We know this can't be because no, that could be, but this cannot be. Because if this happens, there's only one tile where this corner happens, right? We can't draw the 2x2, so you'd have to draw this, and once this expands, it has to continue in one direction. So, and we can't, you know, it just doesn't work. So this happens. Which means this happens, which means this happens, which means this must happen. So that causes this. This now is the smaller dead end, so we need the 1x4 like that. And then this is some new color that is not green, so it must seek a symbol in this direction, and it must be that, which causes this. This is something that comes out and is not green, so it's the 5. This has to connect to the 6. And the 6 can avoid going there by picking everything else up. So here's the situation with 6. It must always pick these 4 up. Because if it avoids picking one of these up, then it has to reach there. Because if it doesn't, then it just doesn't have enough tiles. So either the 6 picks this up, or if it doesn't, it picks all of those. But if it picks this up, it still has to pick all of those up, so it must always pick all of these up, but then it can't pick that up. So that's the situation. This now must expand. Oh, and let's also finish this, I suppose. Can they all belong to one of the shapes? No. They can't. So, they're split between the 2. But that's all we know. Maybe that's not that helpful. Well, that means that this or this must happen. Is that useful information? Maybe. Maybe this is quite limited, actually. Because, like, where is its bounding box? It's not here. Right? Because it needs a 1x3. And it can't get one. If it's here, the only 1x3 in the middle it can get is this. And that could work. But these tiles would all have to belong to that, which is bad. Because it doesn't have a 2x2 in it, for instance. So it's not that. This is clearly bad. So it can't have a bounding box that sees this. Let's now look at this. No. Wait, sorry. I'm looking at the same thing. I meant let's look at this is what I meant. Not this. Could be that, but if it's that, then it's exactly this, and that's bad because of this. So it's not that either. Could it be this? This one is bad? No, it could... Well, that's the only option. If it's horizontal, right? Because it can't do that, it can't do that, it can't do that. So it has to do this and therefore this, but that again causes trouble here. On the other hand, it could do this actually. If it does that, then it's either this or this. It's not this because this can't pick those four up. So it would have to be this and this. So that's possible. So we could be in this style. Can it be this? Not like that. Would have to be this, that, and that's no good. So it's not that. Now finally, let's explore here. It's not this or this. Here, it's not this or this. Here, it's not this or this. Okay, so we're only allowed to do that, and we can't be horizontal, we must be vertical, and we cannot do this version, so we must do that version. So we must do this, and we must do that. This now must expand. This is not yellow, so it must find a symbol through here, but it can't do that, so it must do this, and now this has to happen. Here, this now has its 1x4 like this, and this has to go there. This has to expand to find a symbol, and it finishes. This needs a symbol. Now what happens? Well, now we have red and blue. Or let's actually do this, red and blue, because we know red and blue must be different. Why? Because they have to see one of these symbols. If blue sees this symbol, it can't see red anymore, because this is a different color than blue. And if blue sees this, it again can't see red. So these two are different. So one of them sees this and the other sees that. Which means this this cannot be blue. If this wants to be blue, then this is dead. So this is red. So this is blue. And this now can only join to blue. Done. Nice puzzle. I loved it. This one and that 6th difficulty one were really cool. I loved both of them very much. Amazing. We are done with Solitude. So now we can go back into society and, well, you can still be in society and be lonely. So that's not a good thing to say. But, you know, we no longer have to be in the Solitude window. So what's next? We see two beacons? Yes. Ooh, non-boxy. That's really funny. Okay. And boxy. Box, no box. Wow, that's a good old meme. Kind of an inside joke meme. That's really funny. I did not expect that. But I wonder... I'm not sure. I kind of... I don't know. They could have an inside person who actually did that on purpose. Wow, I did not expect that. That's really funny. Alright. Well, that's a good way to end this video. Yeah. How many are we at? 530. Amazing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.